Good afternoon or good morning or good evening to so many people. We've got lots of people joining. We're a couple minutes early. I'm so excited to see you all here and have you a part of this incredible webinar that we're going to talk about. I love talking with coaches. Since you all win the um, award for being ever on, why don't you throw into the chat where you're from? I love seeing where people are from all over the world and the name of your coaching practice. Just put in the chat, make sure it's going to everyone. Thank you very much. Let me check my audio. We're going to test that a little bit. Maybe that's a little bit better. Christina, thank you for saying that. I'm going to just throw out to everybody if this is any better. That's better. Thank you so much. We've got Natasha from Malta. That's great. Jess from Massachusetts. Great job, Jess. I love that. I'm a big fan. Boston's one of my favorite cities. We've got Istanbul on, which I love. Melissa, wonderful. You're from Dallas. That's too bad. Dallas is not great compared to some of the other places. Melissa, I'm kidding. I'm not giving you a hard time, but you just, people from Dallas, they're going to get a hard time for a lot of things. For those people just joining, remember, or not just remember, just go ahead and jump into the chat and say where you're from, maybe the name of your coaching practice, so we can get to know each other a little bit. Coaches are amazing at kind of sharing about themselves. We've got people from all over the world. We've got Canada representing Daniel from Ottawa. Love that. We're going to get started in about 2 minutes. And I encourage you to make sure if you're attending this, one, be in a quiet space, be in a place where you can pay attention, and you're going to get a lot of great information for your coaching practice. So impressed you all joined early. That is not my style. I am late to just about everything. While we're waiting, I'll tell you, on my wedding day, this is a true story, I was 3.5 hours late for my wedding. You can imagine. And this was 19 years ago. So cell phones weren't popularized like they are today. So I did not have a cell phone, and neither did my future wife. And so she just assumed I wasn't coming for about 3 hours, which was not the best way to start our marriage, but it all worked out. Great. We've got, it's either Lucia or Lucia. Okay. Sean, that's correct. I set expectations, to be totally honest. And I remind that to her all the time whenever I'm late. I work from home and I'm still late for dinner. And I always remind her, you understand, you shouldn't be you should not be surprised by myself, by me being late. Jerry from North Carolina. I love that. North Carolina, no offense to anybody else, is one of the most beautiful states in the United States. It's gorgeous. So Jerry, you are winning the location contest there, with the exception of Florida, because I'm in Florida, and that is the #1 state to be in. We're going to go ahead and get started. You can feel free to chat as much as you want and engage as much as you want. We'll have time at the end for some questions. My name is Don Markland, and I am so excited to spend some time with all of you today. I'm going to share my screen and make sure we've got this all set up, and then we can get started. With this, I want to just throw out onto the chat. Can everybody see the screen? Can everybody see the kind of the slides that I'm presenting? Yes, you can just say yes or no. The reason I asked, thank you very much, Sean, is in one of the first webinars I did, I pulled it up and I forgot to hit share screen. So I did the whole presentation, just my face, and I thought the screen was sharing. So everybody makes mistakes, and I'm I'm glad that we're going to share. This webinar is about how to grow a coaching practice into a six-figure practice without using Facebook ads, without using some of those resources and things. And we're going to talk about that. And as we do, I want to make sure I'm going to talk to you all about being a coach. I'm a coach myself. I'll give you my background in a moment, but I'll tell you, why are you all here? You are all coaches, and you are passionate and dedicated about helping people and building your coaching practice. And I want you to look at some of these stats. If you don't know what COVID-19 is, that's a different problem. I don't know how to help you, but COVID-19 over the last 2 years, it has impacted the world. And look at these statistics that are on there, and you can all read them. But nearly a third of people are reporting they're sleeping worse. Another third are having worse eating habits. Almost 9 out of 10 people have more stress and anxiety now than they did pre-COVID. And I bring up those statistics because I believe all of them can be solved with coaching. Now, I don't want to have any disrespect for the therapeutic community or the psychiatric community. I think they're amazing. And I work with a few people that are therapists and coaches. They do both. Therapy, in many respects, is about diagnosis, whereas coaching is about solving. And I think all of you being on this call, 25 of you, know what I'm talking about. You've seen the breakthroughs, you've seen the life change, you've seen the progress from people. Now, with all these stats, it just screams there's never been a better time in human history, never been a better time to be a coach. But here's some brutal facts. And this is not to get ugly or to say anything terrible, but I want to make sure everybody's just looking at it eyes wide open. With it never being a better time to be a coach, so many coaches are struggling to get clients to build their business. Look at this. There's 650 plus coaching schools in the world right now, and they range all over from $97 weekend boot camps to $25,000 for a 12-week certification. I mean, it's all over what you can do to get certified as a coach. And with all that, and there never being a better time to be a coach, 73% of coaches will make less than $10,000 in their first year. And almost half of all coaches will never get to 10 paying clients. We've got the numbers on the call today, about 25 or so. That means half of you, without any change, without any looking at it differently, statistically are never going to get to 10 clients. And why is that the case? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what that means. But we're going to do a little poll. I'm going to throw open a poll. I'd love to get your participation. Look at these questions here. I don't know how to manage my time correctly. I don't know how to find new clients. I want you to identify, as I do this poll, which one connects with you the most. Which one of these connects with you? I don't know how to find new clients. I'm terrible at sales, right? Or maybe you're one of the coaches, like with the question at the bottom, where you keep getting hit up on social media by different agencies that are promising you, hey, I can fill up your calendar with endless appointments. Don't worry about it, right? It's only going to be this much. And you don't even know if you can trust them. Maybe you're like the last question. I don't know what to charge. I feel like I'm a good coach, but I don't even know what to price it at. I don't even know how to get there. Look at this. We got great stats coming in. Some of you might be thinking I'm terrible at sales. This one comes up all the time. You are tired of explaining to people what coaching really is. You're just tired of it. You try to say what it is, and they're like, I don't know what that means. Tell me what you would do. And you don't know how to articulate it. All right, we're just about everybody. If you haven't filled that out, I'm gonna stop it because that's at 1 minute. Very good. Great participation. Look at some of these answers. Okay, we have our biggest answer. Let me share the results. Okay. The biggest answer was, I'm terrible at sales. I wish people could just find me and see I'm a good coach. Almost half of you said that. A third of you said, I don't know how to find new clients. Okay, thank you for that. This actually participates right in line with other statistics from other groups that said the number one reason coaches struggle is because they don't know about business development. They don't know how to sell coaching. They don't know how to find new clients. That's what we're going to talk about. All of those things. I'm not going to talk to you about how you're coaching or how good you coach. That's your job. I will talk to you about the pathway to growing your practice. This goal from this webinar is to give you that instruction so everybody can leave with really clear tactical items of what to do next to grow your practice. It's perfect if you're brand new. I know some of you are going to be brand new to coaching. You maybe just got certified or just left your job, or maybe you're doing a side hustle. Or it's also perfect for seasoned coaches. If you've been doing this for a while and you're grinding and you're ready to just go all in and take it to the next level, it's perfect for you. Now, this is my least favorite slide. That's a great picture of me when I was a little bit thinner pre-COVID, my goodness. But I bring this slide up because I want you to know I'm a coach like all of you. Everything I'm going to talk to you about today are things and strategies I use every day in my practice. I was a 22-year executive and business coach. I've worked with big companies, Amazon, State Farm, Allstate, US Bank, and more. I've won awards for businesses that we started and sold. So I won entrepreneurship awards, and I've spoken all over the world. And I've been rated by multiple organizations as not only a top 10 business coach, but the #1 business coach in Florida. I bring up these things not to sit here and sound like a jerk. I don't like doing that, but I want you to know and know what I'm talking about. My practice, we're going to talk about this year will eclipse close to 600,000 this year. And I started the practice 3 years ago. So everything I say is exactly what I used and have used to grow this practice. This isn't somebody on Facebook trying to get you to buy a course that you don't even know what they've done. I'm right in front of you, and I'm going to show you the full transcript and blueprint on how to do it. And here it is. I'm going to give you the secrets right away about understanding your undeniable authority, getting your program and taking advantage of other people's audiences, and developing a system. I give you the 3 core principles right up front, and I'm going to walk through all 3 of them. And if you'll stay on to the end, I'll talk to you about one special thing that you all get for being a part of this webinar today. Let me talk to the first secret of how to understand your undeniable authority. This little doodle on here, believe it or not, this is how I started my practice. And before I even get to that, to give you a little context, I had my MBA. I had already built 2 businesses, sold one of them. And I was at the time helping run a $90 million business. I was trained in business. And yet this is how I started my practice. I found out my coaching name. I got a logo. I hired some guy to design me a logo. For some reason, I got a bunch of business cards because I thought it was all of a sudden 1998 or something like that. Then I went and spent money that I didn't have allocated for the business on a fancy website, like this big, beautiful site, spent $8,000 on a brand new website. I created my Facebook page and my LinkedIn page. And then I started to look at a couple of lead sources like Bark, Thumbtack, Numi. All of you are going to know these sources. And then I waited to, watch the magic come in. And here's what happened. First, I got a lot of free coaching sessions. People that would be, I'd get on the phone with, and I'd do a free coaching session or a free strategy session or whatever you want to call it. Then I did actually sign a few clients. The problem was they couldn't afford it. None of them could afford my fees. So I still agreed to coach them for free. And after 6 months, I only had 2 paying clients. To give you a little insight, let me tell you about my first paying client. My first paying client paid me, you won't believe this, paid me $91 a month. $91 a month. And this is what I gave her. I gave her 8 calls a month. So 2 calls a week. Now, if you're quick and doing the math, I was making somewhere around $11 an hour for my first client. Now, believe it or not, my son, who's just graduated high school, he's 18 years old, loves to bring up the fact that he makes more than me now than I did in this practice. That's how I started. And I was trained. I had an MBA and I had grown businesses, and this is what I did. And I realized at that point, I must be missing something. There has got to be a better way to do this. So I relooked at the business, and I realized I had to have a paradigm shift. I had to go from coaching, being a coach and having my coaching hat on. I had to take that off and put on my business owner hat. And whenever I'm a coach, I act like an employee of the business. I'm going to coach, clock in, do my job, coach, get out. And then every other time I had to act and think and behave like a business owner. The first thing to do with that was understand what my business was about. Now, if any of you have done any Google searches, you get on Google and you type up how to build a coaching practice, how to get leads for your coaching practice. One of the first things you're going to see over and over is you have to have a niche. I know you've heard this. I know some of you are frustrated by that statement, but I'm going to explain it here in such an easy way you won't believe it. You know, all the studies, like Forbes did a big study that they found out the #1 problem for coaches is they try to solve everybody's problem and not solve one. Or in other words, they fail to have a niche. Okay. And this is the question that everybody runs into. Don, I can't niche because I can help everybody. I can coach every single person. Now, I want to say something in regards to that. Building a 6-figure coaching practice has nothing to do with how good you are as a coach. Has nothing to do with that. Has to do with how you can sell your coaching. And that's what I'm talking about. And so many times we struggle to niche because we know we can coach anybody. And let's be honest with ourselves, coaching in and of itself is a relatively simple task. You're asking a pre-described set of questions to somebody else and then listening intently and responding to those questions. And if that's how simple it is, of course you could coach anybody, but that doesn't mean you can sell it to everybody. So if you're going to remember anything, the first thing to remember, if you're going to tattoo anything on your brain, tattoo this. If I can help everybody, then I can help nobody. It can't be spread out. I've got to be focused down. I've got to be the biggest fish in the smallest pond. Here's a CEO of ClickFunnels. His name is Russell Brunson. ClickFunnels is a platform I use for my websites and web hosting. And he made this statement: there are riches in the niches. The tighter you get, the bigger fish you become in the smaller pond, the more successful you'll be. But what about all that money you're leaving on the table? Let me show you the math of how easy this works. Let's take a niche here in the United States, divorced women. Let's say you really niche down and focus on divorced women and say, hey, look, hey, I've got a background on this. I have undeniable authority. I'm going to help divorced women. I'm going to coach them through this process. And you charge $497 a month. There are 22 million divorced women every year in the United States. And if you get, I don't even know what that percentage is. Somebody smarter than me has got to know what that is, but 0.00001% of that market, you'll have a 6-figure practice. And that doesn't even include compounding as you keep them longer and longer through your practice. It actually averages out to 15 or 16, and you'll have a 6-figure practice. That's nothing in the overall market. You don't need to coach everybody. You need to coach a chunk of a small group. And the key is starting with your undeniable authority. And this is where sometimes people get lost because they don't know how to niche. And I'm going to show you right now how to do it. What is undeniable authority? Undeniable, it's this adjective. It means plainly true, unquestionably excellent, or genuine. And look what authority means. It's that power to influence, power to command thought, have a strong opinion, cited as an expert. So your undeniable authority is you are unquestionably cited as an expert and a thought leader and have permission to be in this space. Now, let me explain how simple this metaphor works. You can see on the screen, there are 3 tools. I've got a hammer, I've got a screwdriver, and I've got a chainsaw. 3 simple tools. Now, if I'm sitting outside working in the yard with my son and we want to cut down a tree, and I say, hey, go get me a tool, and he comes back with the hammer, I'm going to struggle cutting down that tree. I don't go ask for a tool. I say specifically, give me a chainsaw. I've got to cut down this tree. Or if I have a nail, I'm not going to say, hey, go get me the chainsaw. I'm going to say, give me the hammer. I need to punch in this nail. The same is with coaching. I'll give you another personal metaphor. My wife, my amazing, incredible, beautiful wife, she's a cancer survivor. And when she went through her cancer treatment, we did not go see a general practitioner. We did not go see an ear, nose, and throat doctor. We went and saw an oncologist, somebody that specialized in her medical ailment. The same is with coaching. Every time you're not niching, every time you're just being big and I'm a life coach and I can help everybody, and you don't use undeniable authority, then you're like a chainsaw doing a hammer's work, and people will not find you. They won't know what your specialty is, and they won't believe that you can help them. Undeniable authority is the marketable permission that you obtain in order to sell to particular prospects. When you really emphasize your undeniable authority, that gives you permission to sell to them. And I'm going to explain what word traps are and how this works and how you confuse them and then how to use it. What are word traps? Word traps is something unique to coaching. It's incredible. Where the coach, you as the coach, say certain words. It's a high level concept or word or phrase that you love to say over and over, but only you know what it means. And to the prospect, it could mean any number of things and they get confused. And the reason it's a trap is because the more you say it, you're convincing yourself you're communicating your message, but to your prospect, they're lost. They don't know what you mean. And I'll give you an example. And some of these things might be a little shocking to you because some of you use these terms in your name of your practice or in the way you communicate. Look at these common word traps. I'm a life coach. Now that one's big, but why is it a word trap? Well, it's because people don't know what life coach means. And so the more you say the word, well, I'm a life coach, they don't know, like, what do you mean life? What problem are you solving? My problem of life? There's another one, transitions coach. I'm a transitions coach. Every human being in the world right now is in a state of transition. And if you're a transitions coach, you're going to confuse people. Look at the next four: success, mindset, accountability, wellness, growth. Name a coach on planet Earth that isn't about success or about mindset or about accountability or about wellness or about growth. Every coach on planet Earth does that. So do bosses, so do employers. And it's confusing. And the more you say it, the more you are not attacking the real problem. Your undeniable authority pulls you away from word traps and allows you to use your experience and your history as an individual, as a leader, as a manager, or whatever it was, and use it to attract people into your practice. Now, some of you are going to ask this about your certifications, and look at all these certifications I threw up there. Some of you might even be seeing your exact certification on the screen. What is the value of a certification? Well, let me be really clear. Your certifications will make you a better coach. They're going to teach you the model, but they will not build you a bigger practice, because a certification is only valuable to the market that deems it value. If your prospect doesn't know, I'll go back a slide. If your prospect doesn't know what ICF certification means, or PCC, or certified high performance coach, if they don't know what any of that means, you might as well make up alphabet letters. I'm a JLKGD certified coach. Because if they don't know what it means, it doesn't have value. And that's why undeniable authority is so important. Take your history, take your experience, and niche down off of that. I'll give you a perfect example that comes up all the time where I see people that say, you know, I coach entrepreneurs. I want to coach entrepreneurs. And I'll ask them, where's your history in being an entrepreneur? What's your experience? Have you ever answered payroll? Have you ever built a business? You ever sold a business? And they'll say, no, absolutely, I haven't. And there's the struggle. Because they haven't been a part of it, they don't have experience with it, it's going to be difficult to sell coaching. Now, I know what people say. They say, but Don, I can coach these entrepreneurs. I've done it. I've coached some and I've helped them. And again, I'm not arguing whether or not you can coach. I believe all 25 people on this call can coach anybody. But can you sell your coaching is the key. And it's the undeniable authority that helps you sell coaching, because they believe you're part of their tribe, that you know their world, you know their pain, and that you're an expert in what they deal with every single day. Now, let me tell you about Sam. Sam is a client that's gone through this whole program, which I'm talking to you about. Sam was a speech pathologist 2.5 years ago, where he was working in schools, helping kids learn dialect and learn how to speak. And he used to say to me, Don, teaching feels like my Shawshank Redemption, where I'm in a prison. So he decided to start his own coaching practice. That practice is called the Accent Code. And you want to talk about niche, you want to talk about undeniable authority. He took his history as a speech pathologist and learning how to use the English language correctly. And he built the Accent Code coaching program, where he finds people with an Asian influenced accent and that want to be entrepreneurs, and teaches them how to neutralize the accent and speak with more confidence. You can't get more niche than this guy. And in his first year following this practice, he went from 0 revenue to 6 figures. This year, he'll hit $250,000 and higher going forward, because he did exactly what I'm talking about. He niched at the beginning, and he used his undeniable authority, his history as a professional, to launch towards his first clients. Now, I know, I'm sure some of you are thinking this, but Don, again, if I niche too much, am I going to leave money on the table? Or what if I don't have experience in something? Does that mean I can't coach? Or last, and I hear this one all the time, but Don, I've already got a bunch of clients. Do I really need undeniable authority? What I'm teaching in this program is not about luck. Every one of you can get clients. You can get them from word of mouth, from friends, from neighbors, from coworkers. You can all get some. But I don't want you to live your business off of rolling the dice and hope you get a referral. I want a consistent practice that grows. And I'll give you an example of a client of mine that she started her practice wanting to coach entrepreneurs. She was a 35-year-old woman. She had never been a business owner, never been an entrepreneur, but she loved entrepreneurship, so she wanted to. And she had one client, but really struggled to scale. So she started working with me. We talked to her about the program, talked to her about niching down an undeniable authority. She'd spent years as a trauma nurse. She'd spent years struggling and getting through a difficult divorce. So we took that undeniable authority, that experience, and turned her into a trauma coach who focuses with women that have gone through a difficult divorce. And as she did that, she quickly got to 15 clients, within 6 months. And what was so amazing was, of those 15 clients, 5 of them were entrepreneurs. That she didn't just coach them through the trauma, she started to coach them through their entrepreneurship journey. A year later, now, because she had coached so many entrepreneurs to success, she had expanded her undeniable authority. And now she had the marketable permission to coach entrepreneurs and the women that had gone through difficult divorce and trauma. And her practice started to scale and get to over $250,000. That's how undeniable authority works. Don't forget about Tony Robbins. Some of you love to cite Tony Robbins, and I love Tony Robbins. And he's like, well, he coaches everything. He's on stages. Tony Robbins started as an addiction coach, where he worked with people that were trying to quit smoking, because that was his undeniable authority. That's where he began. And it grew and grew and grew to where it is now. Where you start is not where you end up. The first essential key secret for building your practice is you have to get your undeniable authority and your niche right, so you can attract the right clients and build and scale your practice. Now, the second secret is about building your program. Now, how many of you feel this way? We're not doing a poll. I just want you to think it. I don't like selling, right? I don't feel comfortable pushing myself in front of people. Ugh. Maybe you list one. I know I'm a good motivator. I know I'm a good speaker, but I just need opportunities. And I love the last one. I know I'm a good coach if people just found me. I'm confident all of you connect with one of those 4 points, if not more. All business owners have to be selling themselves and their business 100% of the time. And that's where we take off the coaching hat and become the business owner. Now, I know this word sales, people get icky and weird about it. And every time I bring up sales, they're like, ugh, I don't like that. I don't want to do that. Okay, well, let me tell you why this is so important. When I first started, and I had a background in sales and marketing, and I was struggling to sell coaching, I learned there were 2 issues. Number one Learning how to sell coaching the right way was difficult. I was struggling with that. And secondly, that's that picture on the right. People that want to buy coaching, there's an embarrassment aspect to it. When they fill out a lead, whether they fill out that lead on Numi or Bark or your Google ad or your Facebook ad, that took all of the courage that they had to just fill out that form. And now they're shrinking back. And so I had to figure out how to get in front of them, even though they'd filled out a lead, because they're already embarrassed. Now, some people get weird about that selling word, and I had to learn how to sell coaching without being gross. Now, this picture is a used car salesman. That's here in the United States, the classic way that people think of sales. They think of sales as in a plaid suit jamming a used car down somebody's throat. That is not sales. That's called screwing people over. That is a different job altogether. When you sell correctly, it is not sleazy, deceptive, lying, pushy, skeezy. It's none of those things. When you sell correctly, using the right model, all you do is this. You ask good questions, you tell thought-provoking stories, and you get your client to consider who they are and eliminating limiting beliefs. Now, all of you on this call, I want you to look at this slide. And if I change the word correct selling is, if I changed it to correct coaching is, it's going to be the same 3 answers. Every one of you on this call that might be struggling with sales, and remember that was 50% of the respondents on our poll said they struggled with sales. If you do it the right way and you learn the right model, it's what you're already doing as a coach. That's what's amazing about learning how to sell coaching. When you do it that right way, it's what you're already trained to do. And what's the easiest way to do that is you take it out of the abstract concept of coaching and create a program to sell. What is a program? Okay, a program is where you stop communicating about this strange thing that's coaching that they don't know what it is and turn it into a product. And I use the 3 E's. You have to engage, you have to use emotion, and you have to give it a name. You have to entitle it, you have to give it a name. And I call this the Yoda model. Now, my dork is about to show I'm a big Star Wars fan, and anybody that's not a Star Wars fan, you let me know privately and I'll hook you up on the movies you should start with because it's going to change your life. But I use the Yoda model because Yoda is such a universal character. If you've seen The Empire Strikes Back, when Yoda first shows up to Luke, it's confusing. Luke doesn't know who he is. He's like, who's this puppet looking thing? This is strange. And it wasn't until Yoda actually demonstrated his power when he lifted this ship out of the Dagobah lake, and it was called the Force. The Force that Luke, sorry, I had a call come in. It was called the Force that Luke began to believe and become a fanatical follower. That was the difference. And you're going to follow the same thing. Where on your calls, you engage emotionally, you demonstrate your powers as a coach, and you name it something. You give it a name that they can remember. Now, your program is your unique approach to life change, business change, financial health, whatever you want. Those of you that are focusing in life coaching, you can still use the wheel of life. You can still use all of those things, but you call it your program. You name it after yours so it's memorable and they're no longer embarrassed. That's the goal. Make it as memorable as you can. Let me give you another little tip in doing that. This is the RIP toolbox, right? You want to use either repetition, imagery, or patterns to help them remember. Repetition is where they repeat a sound. Imagery is where they invoke this thought or this idea. And patterns is duplication of what they're saying. So I'll give you an example. This is my program that I sell now, even to business owners, the 4 C's of accountability. Critique success, correct failure, celebrate growth, crush mediocrity. 4 C's. It's repetition. I want them to be easily to remember that. If you want to use imagery, I talked to you about Sam. He has the accent code where he's helping his people understand that even something like accent, a strong accent, it's hackable. It's a cheat code. You can solve it. We have another client that I work with where she works only with project managers in the IT space. So hers is called Agile Advantage, right? It gets that repetition going. All of it's memorable, and all of you can create that memorable name of a program. And the idea is to get them to stop being embarrassed about coaching. Make it so they can go tell their spouse. So they don't have to tell somebody, yeah, I have a coach. They can say, I'm part of the Agile Advantage program and it's changing my life. And from there, when you want to take it to the next level and attract people, you take advantage of other people's audiences, or OPAs for short. All of your customers congregate somewhere. They listen to podcasts. They are on different Facebook groups. They follow certain people on Instagram. They're in different LinkedIn groups, whatever it is. You take those audiences and you take yourself as an authority equipped with your program, and then you become a guest on those podcasts that they listen to, or join those groups and weigh in and have powerful thought, or follow the same people they have on Instagram and make comments. And all of a sudden, you are in a position where they already are, and they become attracted to you. This is a very true story. It's hot off the presses. In our program, we had a coach say just yesterday, they got 2 clients from a Facebook group that they've been a part of for 2 weeks by just weighing in, providing good thought, and then talking about their program. 2 clients from following this exact model and having a program. Let me tell you about Jeff. Jeff came to me. He had multiple business ventures that he was trying to grow, and it was a mess. And so we created a very clean, articulate program that he could sell. And as he started to sell it and focus just on the program, his business grew by 50% in the first 6 months by following exactly what I'm talking about. I emphasize this over and over. None of these things I'm speaking to are not true, time tested, and what I use every day. Now you're probably thinking, does a program really make a difference? And can I find other people's audience even if I don't like selling? Well, let me give you an example of McDonald's and Walt Disney World. If you wonder what McDonald's does, right? What problem do they solve? They give food to families that don't have time. That's their problem that they solve. And what is their program? Well, their program is real simple. It's value meal number 2 or Happy Meal or whatever it is. Same thing is with Walt Disney World. They've niched down. Walt Disney World is they solve, children's sadness, right? They make children happy and parents miserable. That's what Walt Disney World does. They make children happy and parents miserable. But how do they do that? What's their program? Their program is Fantasyland or Tomorrowland or Pirates of the Caribbean. Every business on earth follows what I'm talking to you about. And that's what I had to go through, that same learning, and realize I need to not go away from what I know, but double down on it and watch it scale my practice. And here, this is Podmatch. This is a service that you can use. And there's a number of them out there that uses AI to sync you up with other podcasts so you can get your voice out there and sell your program. The second secret is getting your memorable program right so people know exactly how and what you're going to do for them. You have to have a product to sell that isn't called coaching so they can understand it, see it, and move forward. Now, let's talk about the third piece. Your positive mindset. And I know a lot of you have a positive mindset. That is not the reason your practice isn't taking off. If you're motivated every day and you're like, I'm so determined, that is not the reason your practice hasn't taken off. If you're broke, if you're like, Don, I don't have any money to spend, that is not the reason your practice has not started or taken off. This one's my favorite. I know many of you are getting phone calls from these fake radio interview people online trying to get you to do interviews. That's all a big scam. And just because you haven't done that or you don't have a personal podcast, that is not the reason your practice hasn't taken off. The number one reason of every secret we talked about, the number one thing stopping you is having a sales system. Now, what is a sales system? This is where you find consistent lead sources from multiple places. You have a hook, something clean and clear that gets that initial appointment call, and then a follow-up cadence to lead to conversion. And it's something that you can follow every day, every time, without fail. That is the number one way to build your practice, is have your sales system. And we talked about this and you all just justified it on the poll at the beginning of the webinar. W. Beck cited that 80% of coaches fail to have a consistent sales or business development system. And without that system, you're going to be chasing clients and have inconsistent results. It's going to be frustrating. Now, you're probably thinking, like, what do I develop? What do I do? What system do I build? Doesn't it take forever? What if I don't like to sell? And the answer to all of those things is yes, it does take time. But if you listen and learn from other people, you can have the best system that'll grow your practice the fastest. Let me tell you a perfect example about Dennis. Dennis has an international coaching business called Der Schaffe dich neu, based out of Germany. And their business, when I first started working with them through this program, they were about $250,000 a year. They were doing really well. But after focusing down on their niche and really developing their program, but then most importantly, really tightening up their sales system and having it a consistent process, their business grew from 250,000 euros to 4 million. And in fact, this year, I think we'll get closer to 5. That's the power of this last piece. That's why we talk about it last. It has the most impact. The most important thing, the essential thing for building your practice is having a consistent sales system that you can follow every single day. Now, if you're one of these two people right now, we've gone through a lot of information, and you're either the dog on the left, which is like grooving and feeling good, or you're the guy on the right drinking from the fire hose. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed. If that's you, I want to share something with you. I gotta do it this way. There it is.
Thank you. I actually just landed a client through Instagram just before I hopped on. Yay! Yay!
Okay, beautiful. And how did you land that client? Talk about that.
Well, I kind of followed your script a little bit.
I've had a great week, as I had committed a goal of 10 conversions, and I've managed to reach 50% of it. So
I enjoyed the Sales Academy. Don's been great. Helping with sales, basically more of a call and trying to get the clients to commit and to sign up, and that's been really great.
And then we have public clients, so private practice clients, we're probably up to about 16.
Okay, very good. When you started NewMe Sales Academy, what do you think it was?
I think it was about 8.
Okay, very good. That's doubling. That's good. That's good. That's what I was looking for. So
did I give you what you need, Dom?
I'm Jem, and I've closed 8 clients. The ones that I reached out to embark, so it's working.
Okay, will you say that really clear so I can record that? We're gonna paste that. Okay.
My fee doubled since starting this class.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Thank you for letting us share that. Now I got to turn the back. I want to make sure everybody can see the screen. Yes. Okay. Oh, it's starting again. Okay, great. I want to talk to you about NewMe Sales Academy. This is a top 5 rated online training program in the United States. It's designed especially and only for coaches. And what NewMe Sales Academy is about is when I started to grow my practice and do really well, and I started to partner with NewMe, we realized so many coaches every day are trying to get the right answers to grow their practice. They need to avoid the scams, avoid the people telling them they can fill up your appointments, through Facebook ads, and they're spending thousands of dollars, sometimes $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 on scams. And so we want to create a program that I use every day for myself to build I practice. And the first aspect of it is making sure every coach has a coach that can work directly with me. And I learned this the hard way, that when I didn't have a coach, I was struggling. But when I had a coach, it was extremely valuable. But there's a little bit difference of just hiring any business coach and hiring somebody that's actually a coach themselves, that actually has built a big practice and knows how to speak your pain. Not having a coach, that's like drinking the Kool-Aid and not selling the Kool-Aid, or selling the Kool-Aid and not drinking it. It'd be like being a hairstylist, but insisting you didn't need to take care of your own hair. If any of you know the law of entropy, the law of entropy is anything left unto itself is in a constant state of decay. So we wanted to provide coaching so every coach can be working with myself and learn exactly what they can do to build their practice the fastest. Numi Sales Academy provides you that. We provide coaching that is only designed for coaches. Now, that's the first week. We have an 8-week program that we're going to enroll you to that teaches you all these aspects. I'm going to walk through that. But the most important aspect is you get coaching individualized so you understand how coaching works and how to scale it the fastest way. Next is Numi Sales Academy focuses on the aspect of selling coaches. We're not going to talk about your coaching practice and how you coach clients. I know all of you are great coaches, but Numi Sales Academy focuses on how to sell and scale your practice through the methods that we use every single day. This is how we've generated 7 six-figure coaches this year alone. So you'll learn about sales strategy, sales process. You'll even get the scripts that we use and teach every day. Next, so much of today is on social media and video content, and there's so many ways to get it wrong. And we teach the right methods of how to get it right, how to get content out there, how to get the social right, how to get your pages right, so people know your authority, know what you do, and can work with you easily. So you'll get social media evaluation and consultation through all your platforms. Big here, coaches have to act like business owners, not coaches. You heard me have my own process where I learned this myself. Numi Sales Academy, we focus every day bringing you back to being a business owner so you can scale your practice every single week. You'll go through business growth strategy and development. Remember too, and you all know this as accountability coaches, that habits don't develop in some weekly sessions. They happen every single day through the community. So we have over 50 hours of previous coaching sessions we've done with coaches on scaling their practice in our membership site, and you get lifetime access to this site that is updated every single week. In there, we have courses on email marketing, Google ads, web page design, how to use Numi leads, how to use Bark leads, how to use Thumbtack leads. All of the resources that you think and know are in this membership site that you have lifetime access to. And of course, you would know this, we're going to have extras. Some of the extras are right in line with what you need. You're going to receive the coaching practice workbook. The coaching practice workbook helps you solve that how do I niche problem. So you can go through the workbook and figure out your undeniable authority and how to niche. And the second one is our coaching resource kit. The coaching resource kit, which we sell normally, is given to you for free for being in the program, and you'll get my exact texts, my exact emails, and the script we use and teach every day. Those are both included as part of this program. All of that big list. And if I put some valuation on that list, that's going to be somewhere around $118,000 if you spent and tried to get all those things developed them yourself. That includes the time, effort, and technology to build every one of those pieces. Now, there are 2 types of coaches on this call. We mentioned this at the beginning. There's some of you that are just starting out, and you don't want to waste time, you don't want to waste all this money, and you don't want to waste energy learning how to build your coaching practice. And then there's some of you that have been at this a while. You're frustrated and you're grinding and you're ready to just scale it now. You're ready to go all in. If you went in the market and try to find a general business coach that's one of the top 1%, they're going to charge $60,000 at least. When I do my business coaching engagements, that's my minimum price. That's how I knew that. If all this program did was get you your undeniable authority, help you build that program, make it memorable, give you the sales system that works, not to mention keep you motivated, accountable, and more, this would absolutely be worth that $118,000. And you all joined this webinar to be and learn something. And this is from a picture from one of my favorite movies. It's Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. It's an older movie, but in this movie, Indiana was faced with a choice when he was over a big ravine. He had to take a leap of faith, or he could have walked away and been the same person he was. That same problem is now with all of you. You all joined and thought, am I going to go all in on my practice? Am I going to keep trying to do this alone? Or am I going to do what I actually tell all my clients to do, which is invest in their practice, have real coaching, and go after my big dreams? All of this that's worth $118,000, of course, is not that much. There's no way we would charge $118,000. All of this whole program is only $1,997. Or if you want to break it up, you can do 3 payments of $797 for enrollment into our 8-week program. And here's the best part. There's a bonus. All of you that are still on, all of you that have gone through this and learned and thought about this and thought, this is the month, this is the year, I'm ready to go after it. We're going to discount the whole thing. $1,000 off. It's $997 to sign up, plus 3 payments of $397. And do the math. That's 1 client. If this gets you 1 client, it's paid for itself. When this gets you 2 clients or 3 clients, you're in the green. Stop trying to go at it alone or just try to figure it out. Demand better results of yourself and of your practice and invest in it the right way. Now, I'm going to say something here. This isn't part of the script, okay? But anybody that signs up now, like the first 5 people that sign up now for this, you're going to get individual coaching from me. Not only are you going to roll into the 8-week program, I will work with you directly and have a one-on-one, go through your whole practice website, everything to get your practice scaling faster for the first 5 people to sign up. And this is where you sign up. You take this here. I have to put this in the link here for everybody. This is the part that is always so slow. I'm going to put it in the chat so everybody can see it. When you go here, all of you can join. And the first 5 people that join, will be able to, I'm going to work with you directly, but you got to throw it in the chat so I can see it and be able to know what know that you're part of the program. And I'm going to jump on with you. Not only will you be in the program, but you will be working with me directly on growing your practice. And I'll finish this here. I want to make sure you all have used this quote, I know, in your practice before. You've talked about it many times, okay? But there's, it's an old Chinese proverb. The old Chinese proverb says, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time to plant a tree is right now. All of you that have been grinding, that have been struggling and been wondering, how do I get ahead? How do I do this? What's the best way? I'm not selling a fake course. I'm not selling anything. I'm talking to you directly. Go in on your practice, invest in the program, and watch what happens. This year alone, we've had 7 6-figure coaches that prior to this didn't have even close to that. One of them had 0 revenue. That can be you if you take it serious and go after your program and go and really invest in it. And remember, one last thing is January is 1 month, is 5 weeks away, and that is the #1 month for coaching. The #1 month. More leads, more Google leads, more interest comes in January than any other month. If you're going to get ahead of it, you have to get ahead of it right now. That's why we're doing this last live webinar before the end of the year. Now, we've got a few minutes. I'm jumping into the Q&A. If you have questions about your practice, if you have questions or anything you want to have answered, we got a couple of minutes. Go into the question and you can ask any question you want. You can do it in the chat or the Q&A. Oh, the code for the discount. Oh, there was a code for the discount. Thank you, Joanna. I apologize. I forgot to get the code for the discount. Okay, those of you that are signing up, let me get you the code. It is flash sale. Okay, you type in, I'm going to put it in the chat right now. Oh, I'm so glad you said that. I'm putting it right in here right now. Boom. Flash sale. You type in flash sale and you can sign up. First person to sign up, first 5 people, you're going to work with me individually. We're going to work on your practice. Now, we also have time. I want to answer any questions you have. If some of you have questions about your practice, questions about your undeniable authority, questions about leads or lead sources, throw it up and I'll answer anything I can in the minutes we have remaining. And why some of you are contemplating, right? I want you to really consider and think about how long you've been doing this and what you're trying to do with your practice. I got a question here from Kay where she said, would you please repeat how to compare coaching to therapy? That was brilliant. Thank you very much, Kay. Therapy is amazing. Psychiatric work is amazing. But so much of that work is around diagnosis, whereas coaching focuses on long-term solution. That's what I believe the difference is. Both are valuable, both support each other, and oftentimes therapists can also be coaches, but they work differently. So thank you for asking that, Kay. Other questions from anybody in the group? For anybody that signs up, please send a message here on the chat so I know I can document it, that you are going to get individual coaching from me. We're working right now with over 40 coaches in the program, and I'm working individually with all 40. Joanna, thank you so much. She just signed up. So Joanna, I'm going to get your email address and we're going to set up one-on-one time and we're going to start scaling that practice. The program meets on Fridays. We're meeting this Friday. So this is your shot to get in before the end of the year. This is the last kind of shot we're going to do before we move into it next year. Okay. Christina just asked a question where she said, I'm very part-time right now, not ready to scale up, but want to do or offer something over the holidays. Absolutely. We actually cover the January offer. When you get into the program and you have lifetime access to the membership site, we have done 8 weeks around January offers, exactly how to create the January offer, what works, what doesn't, how to email it out. Everything from that is in the membership site. That answers your question brilliantly. Jess just asked what's the cost again. 2-day only, because you're a part of this. It's $997 or 3 payments of $397. I look at that as, if you break down $397 over 30 days, is basically a cup of coffee a day. It's one client. You get one client from this. It's paid for itself in spades. I promise you, it is not the leads why you're not growing your practice. I know this because I've worked with over 1,000 coaches in the last year. Very good. Jess just joined in at $997. That's 2. Jess, you and I are going to work one-on-one. We're going to build your practice. If you're serious about taking your practice and taking it to the next level, take advantage of this time. Okay. And when you do this, you will scale at a level that you didn't even realize, because you're going to learn from the mistakes of so many other people and jump ahead. Now, we've got a couple minutes left, probably time for one more question. Okay. What other questions can I answer for anybody? I love coaches. I love working with coaches. And I've been a coach now for 3 years. This is one of the highlights of my week, is working with coaches in this program. And the reason why is because I see them scale and grow their practice every single day. So thank you so much for you all spending time with me, for going through this. I encourage you to take your practice seriously. Even part-time, I did it as a side hustle for my first 1.5 years when I got it up to almost 200,000. All of you can grow your practice, but it means you got to take a leap of faith. You have to invest in growing your practice the right way in order to grow. You can't just hope. Hope is not a strategy. There has to be investment for you to figure out the right way to do it. And this, in my opinion, is not only the best you're going to see, but it's the most cost effective. So you can avoid those scams and really build your practice. Thank you so much. Now this offer is going to expire over the next 2 days. We're going to keep it live up until Friday. So you have until Thursday at midnight to make a decision. You're all going to get an opportunity to watch the replay, get access to all the documentation and the slides. Don't miss the opportunity to take advantage of January and build your practice. Thank you so much. I hope you all have a great rest of the season, and we'll see you all on Friday. Thank you so much, everybody.